Good day to you all. I am Kathy Gladwin. We are going to be talking about communication today. Now, this is my colleague, Oscar Zaborowski. How are you doing, Oscar?
Hello, Kathy. I'm very well. How are you?
Good, thank you very much.
We're from STC, your training and certification provider, and also QTC, your consultancy specialist.
Awesome. Thank you, Oscar. So the thing I love about BRC standards is that they'll often bring up a topic, Oscar, and I'm sure when you deliver your courses, you've noticed as well, that you end up talking about a particular topic a number of times as it appears in the standard in various sections and various clauses. Yeah, over and over. And people might think to themselves, but we've covered this, haven't we? But actually what BRC is doing is they are trying to explore each topic from a different angle or perspective to make sure that the business really does get it right. Does that seem familiar to you?
Yeah, no, it does. It does. We do repeat ourselves, but we do repeat ourselves in the different scenarios all over again. And whenever, we've got communication comes up, again, the communication, it's related to all the time a different topic.
It does. It's kind of like something that flows through the business and through every single topic, doesn't it? This communication. Yeah, I agree with you. Another thing that you can see in these graphics that we've got prepared here for you is that culture also sits in the middle of it. And even within the clause on culture, BRC insists that we have something on the topic of communication within that culture plan. So both communication and culture kind of shows that people is in the center of everything that we do, isn't it?
That's right. That's right. And I think when it comes to culture, I think people are kind of thinking that, when we're talking about the communication within the culture, they mention, oh yeah, but we already have, for example, our monthly management review meetings and things like that. But this is not what we are trying to cover within that particular section. It's something more.
It's more.
It is.
It's always more. You're quite right. Quite right. If I focus on this particular graphic here for the food standard, we will touch on some of the other standards in a bit. But first of all, we look at the policy. The policy is kind of the business saying, we are going to do this right. We are going to make a good product. Can you see how from the top, they communicating to the rest of their business, don't you think?
I agree.
Yeah. And what do you think about the job there? How does that fit with in the scheme of things?
So I think that, quite often people are writing this policy just to have it, but they don't always apply it in reality. And I think there is kind of often a lack. But we're seeing improvements, but I think it has to be more than a policy. And just a kind of a written policy. What I'm trying to say is to, we want to see this and that people knows actually, oh, this is our quality policy. This comes from, we all know about it. And I think sometimes it's just seen as a piece of paper to tick a box where it's actually not.
Yeah, exactly right. You're quite right. What I like about the policy is that comes from the top, but the job description is then the business saying, and this is what we need you to do. So then that's like me, if I'm the staff, taking responsibility to make a good product. So that's again communicating to me as an individual, I'm expected to do X, Y, and Z. Isn't it? So that's on behalf of the staff. Yeah, no, having a clear job description. Everybody knows what their responsibilities are. And so I think that's communicated pretty well, or should be communicated well through the job descriptions. 113 is about staff knowing that they need to shout if something's wrong. Now, you're not going to wait. You're not going to wait for some of these other meetings we're going to talk about in a little bit. If something needs urgent attention, staff should know. There should be a good culture in the business that they know and they are willing to speak up if something's not right.
Yeah, and I think, usually when I'm seeing, visiting sites or even during the training courses, I see that people knows that they have to, to who they have to report the issue to, or when they have to speak out, and kind of expect that it does happen in real life if something goes wrong, and then not just,
114 is your minimum annual senior management review meeting. Again, opportunity for communication, and it's very much two-way communication, isn't it? So you'll have people feeding in reports into that meeting, and then you'll have outputs from the meeting.
That's right. And it's a lot of data, as we said, it's an annual one. So it's a lot of data actually coming in both ways.
Mm,
Like,
yeah, indeed. And then BRC reminds us and they say, don't forget, the output of the meeting needs to be communicated back to all relevant staff within the business. And there's a new bit in version 9 on that, isn't it? Is communicating back to all relevant staff. 115 is having a demonstrable meeting system or program in place. And this has got to be minimum monthly. Do you want to tell us a bit about that, Oscar?
so this one, obviously it would be to talk through all the food safety issues, whatever food safety, authenticity, legality, or quality issues that happen, during the last month. I would say this is how it would normally work. And I think this is, sometimes people, as I'm coming back to what I was saying regarding the food safety culture, and people thinking that, that those meetings are actually to talk about, food safety culture. We can add a prompt in those meetings to talk, to talk through some of the food safety culture, but I think those are much needed to be focused on the communication, what really happened during the month and the feedback from all the employees, and also the different KPIs that we know we had, any objectives that we've went through or anything like this.
Indeed. It can be pretty comprehensive, can't it? But it's to talk about whatever's been going on. Of course, a lot of people I've noticed, they don't have them monthly, they have them weekly or even daily sometimes. Yeah, something I always like to remind people, we can always exceed BRC's requirements. We just can't not meet the minimum.
You always
Yeah.
want to improve, right?
Yes, exactly. Okay, Oscar, I'm going to let you tell us about the confidential reporting system that we see in 116. Why does BRC go on and on about giving us different methods of, raising an issue?
I think when it comes to confidential reporting, I think this is to really make sure that someone is, if he's not confident reporting it, to his manager, that he got a way to report it anonymously, so he not get into trouble. Because some people might think, oh yeah, if I report something, I'm not getting into trouble, or yeah, he will know about it, and then I will have maybe some issues. And that's why BRC putting that in place to make sure that everyone can report, confidently and confidentially, any issues that happen, for example, in the on the shop floor or anywhere in the system or in the business. And what I'm seeing is that, there's a lot of ways of reporting. It can be, a phone call, or it can be an email, or it can be a suggestion box, or anything like this. But what is often missed is the independency from those reports, as to kind of, who will receive those reports, who actually can open those reports and see them. And this is why I'm saying that it's sometimes, there's not enough independency, as to, you reporting, there's a phone number of maybe the managing director, and you're gonna call him. And I've got, for example, myself, I've got a weird, Polish French accent, and he's gonna be like, "Oh, hello, Oscar, what's up?"
Exactly.
That's the thing, So it has to be independent, and we need to have maybe different ways of reporting if we're not, for example, familiar with the phone call.
Indeed. Yeah, best possible system is to have those multiple methods of contact. Yeah, just to reassure the person using the system. Yeah, I agree. No, thank you very much for that, Oscar. Just to move on from the food standard, exactly the same. Go ahead.
I wanted actually to add something, and
Yeah.
so some people are trying to combine the confidential reporting with their, obviously, whistleblowing policy, yeah, which
Oh,
makes sense.
yes.
But some people actually forget to include in that whistleblowing policy what what BRC is focusing on, which is the product. And a lot of people
Yes.
are actually, we will be reporting bullying, harassment, and things like this. But they forgetting to put, we will also report any product concerns related to safety, authenticity, legality, or quality. And this is where they fail, because the whole purpose of BRC is, is the focus on the product.
On the
So for
product.
those who are combining both, please remember to actually add your bullet points for your product concerns.
Good advice there, Oscar. Thank you. Excellent point. Moving on from the food standard, you can see here that in fact the other standards are the same. They cover the same topics depending on the version. So agents and brokers, you can see they got the same topics, policy, job description, your annual management review, all underpinned by culture and having this demonstrable meeting program. But they don't yet have the confidential reporting system in place or the need to shout if there's a problem. So those two are missing, but they are to be determined in the next version of the standard. Likewise, in the packaging standard version 6, this one is also due an update. And in fact, it's currently going through the consultation process for version 7. And the storage and distribution standard is already there. We've got everything covered in this particular version. Just the clauses are going to be different. Some of them are different to what we see in the food standard. But yes, the topics are the same essentially, and it's all about effective communication. Do this and your business will do well. So it's about having positive intention and a great culture. Oscar, is there anything you'd like to add?
No, I think we've said it all. So thank you very, very much, everyone. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.
Excellent. Thank you. Bye from me as well.